Hello, my friends, and welcome. My name is Alex, and I'm here to tell you that the Emperor is indeed naked. Today, I want to talk to you about colored revolutions here in Eastern Europe. France 24 reports that the leader of Belarus's opposition party said Friday that the United States is looking to help them against Lukashenko. Now, what does this mean? This means that they are trying to push Lukashenko into joining the war. You don't do something when the West can see that Lukashenko has been actually quite reluctant to pull the trigger. And yeah, don't take those TV clips of him trying to convince his generals that we should invade, and those guys looking gloom, because all of these dictators are first and foremost opportunists. This guy is just a KGB agent. The guy, there's a clip of him being pissed off that Putin didn't approve his promotion to lieutenant colonel of the KGB nowadays. So he's supposed to receive a pension and from the Russian state for his, and the Soviet law said that even after you go to pension after a number of years, you get automatically promoted. And he's pissed off that he wasn't made a full colonel. So the guy is there to control, to keep Belarus useful to Moscow, and he didn't do that. Sure, the Russians played hide and seek with a safe house from Belarus. They jumped the border, attacked Ukraine, and then went back. And you can't touch me here. Same way they did in the northeastern parts of Ukraine, where again they invaded, but as soon as they went back over the border, they were like, "No, my God, these evil Ukrainians shooting missiles at our poor civilians." Anyway, so what this article here, what this open and public meeting between the opposition of Belarus, and you can see that the State Department Deputy Secretary emphasizes the United States' enduring support for the Belarusian people's democratic aspirations. Now, the United States presupposes, as their ideology demands it, that every single country on earth wants democracy, and not just any kind of democracy, that every country on earth votes for a neoliberal regime. So when they say they support change, they support change as long as that change goes directly, supports their interests directly. But what they are doing here, they are trying to make Lukashenko get involved in the war, because he's right now he can't stay semi-neutral as he is, and getting pushed in the war would actually increase his chances of getting toppled. But if he is not going to ask for the full support of the Russians, then he's just going to get his orange revolution prepackaged by the United States. Now in Romania we had our December Revolution, and our December Revolution is known for the fact that it's the only violent fall of a communist regime in Europe in '89. All the other ones just surrendered. The fact that they surrendered should tell you that those were not revolutions. Communists do not give up power because it is the will of the people. This is absurd. If this was true, communism should have never existed anywhere ever. No, What happened was the KGB realized, even in the late 60s, that they cannot win the Cold War, and they had the plan of basically retreating and making but they couldn't just surrender. So they had their commies step down and then create parties that most of them won the new democratic elections fair and square. In Romania, you can see here these random civilians and some soldiers shooting back at the terrorists. Now, the fact that these guys are armed and shooting and, as you can see, hiding competently, so to speak, whatever, they look like soldiers because they were soldiers during communist times. Every man had to was a conscript. Every single man was a soldier. The same happens in Ukraine. This is why Ukraine, I was sure for a long time that Ukraine was going to have a war sooner or later, because Ukraine was the only country in Europe that had a 2-year conscription for every able-bodied man. And not only that, but their high school students had summer camps, both between the 10th and the 11th grade, and between the 11th and the 12th grade. So 1 month summer camps where they learned how to shoot and basic drills. So this isn't when you see images of armed, very young looking soldiers, yeah, they don't have any experience as soldiers, but they're not, as you would imagine, your own Western friends and kids being sent to war. Those are guys that basically assume that at some point there's going to be a war. Now, the revolutions, because this is the Ukrainian Maidan revolution, where the exact same thing happened, the exact same strategy unfolded as in Romania. You see, hundreds of people were shot in the center of Bucharest, and not a single terrorist was ever wounded, shot, killed, or caught. Nobody ever saw a single one. Sure, some Russian tourists were stopped at the border a few days before entering our country in transit to their vacations in Serbia, and then, a few buses of these Russian tourists were stopped entering the country and then exiting the country one day after the terrorists in the middle of Bucharest disappeared. And everything was filmed, broadcast live on television. And like I said, people died. And then we had the Euromaidan, where everybody already had a camera phone. People could take pictures, and still dozens of people were shot. Not hundreds, but dozens of people were shot, and not a single terrorist was caught. Furthermore, both in Bucharest and in Kiev, because I'm Romanian, and I'm not going to say Kyiv, like, that's just stupid. Kiev. Both in Bucharest and in Kiev, these terrorists shot both at the protesters and at any police forces. So each side could claim martyrdom. And then the sides came together to fight the evil dictator. What I'm saying is, you should trust your own eyes, your own thoughts, your own way of looking at things. Not to be confused with hubris. I'm not saying that your opinion is the best or that your analysis is better than anybody else's. I'm saying don't outsource your thinking. If you care about something, get informed by yourself and not from mainstream media articles. I'm not saying go look up some obscure conspiracy site. I'm saying think for yourself and trust your own thinking. Things aren't what they seem. They never are in grand politics such as these. And these people are mostly actors, ones that are supposedly making decisions. A lot of what is happening is performative. And I'm not talking about the war, God forbid. No, people are dying in. It's not a fake war of any kind, Jesus. But the same way as in the revolutions in Kiev and Bucharest where people died, what I'm telling you is that the real culprits are never named. And the West is doing everything in its power to escalate this war. They are not looking for peace. And this is insane. We cannot have a world war, not with nuclear weapons. And everybody should try and speak out against it. I'm not saying go and post my clips, whatever. Thank you for listening to me, by the way, but I ain't nobody special. Neither are you. Special people are very rare. But I'm saying you should, when you talk about politics, although it's uncouth in some places to talk politics, it's fucking stupid that it's uncouth. You should talk, but you shouldn't proselytize and you shouldn't pontificate. You should think for yourself. You should always encourage others to think for themselves. That's it. That's the only way and the best way to actually have a functioning, peaceful society. But about functioning, peaceful societies, I will tell you more some other time. I have been Alex. Thank you for listening to my rambling, and I will see you and hear from you, hopefully all, some next time. Have a nice day.